This is Lemme Explain 101. Plain answers, no jargon. Whenever people argue about politics, money, or who ruined the economy this time, two words usually pop up: capitalism and communism. They're like rival cousins at a family reunion, never in the same room without drama. So what are they really? Let's break it down. Let's start with capitalism. In the simplest terms, capitalism is an economic system where most things, businesses, property, resources, are privately owned. The goal is profit. You want to start a bakery, you buy flour, rent a shop, hire workers, sell bread, hopefully make money. The success or failure depends largely on the market, what people want, what they're willing to pay. Supply and demand call the shots. In capitalism, competition is key. The idea is that businesses compete, innovate, and improve, which supposedly benefits consumers. If you don't like one bakery's bread, you buy from another. Choice, efficiency, freedom, those are the selling points. But the system also comes with inequalities. Some people own factories, others just work in them. Some rake in billions, others can't pay rent. Capitalism doesn't promise fairness, it promises opportunity. Whether you actually catch it is another matter. Now, communism. Think of it as capitalism's opposite experiment. Instead of private ownership, everything is collectively owned. The land, the factories, the resources. In theory, there's no rich and no poor, no bosses and no workers, just equality. The state usually manages production and decides what gets made, how, and for whom. The famous slogan is, "From each according to his ability, to each according to his need." Communism's big promise is fairness. No one hoards wealth while others starve. Everyone contributes. Everyone benefits, at least on paper. In reality, attempts at communism often ended with shortages, inefficiencies, and governments that looked more like dictatorships than utopias. Standing in line for bread wasn't exactly the dream Karl Marx had in mind. So what's the difference? Capitalism says, you can own stuff, build stuff, sell stuff, and get rich. Communism says, we all share, no one owns, and no one's richer than anyone else. Capitalism thrives on competition. Communism eliminates it. Capitalism risks inequality. Communism risks inefficiency. Of course, the real world isn't so black and white. Pure capitalism doesn't exist. Even in the most capitalist countries, governments regulate markets, provide public services, and bail out banks when things crash. Pure communism hasn't really existed either. Every attempt ended up with powerful states running the show and ordinary people with little real say. What we actually see are mixed systems, some more market-driven, some more state-driven. Take the United States, often called the champion of capitalism, but it has taxes, public schools, Social Security, even Medicare. Not pure capitalism at all. On the other hand, China still calls itself communist, but has one of the largest market economies in the world. So both sides borrow from each other when convenient. Historically, the clash between these systems shaped much of the 20th century. The Cold War was basically capitalism versus communism, the US versus the Soviet Union. Each claimed superiority, each pointed to the failures of the other. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, leaving many to declare capitalism the winner. But even today, debates rage on. Should healthcare, housing, or education be treated like products in a market, or rights guaranteed to all? People argue passionately because both systems touch on something fundamental: how we live, work, and share resources. Capitalism appeals to individual ambition. Work hard, take risks, reap rewards. Communism appeals to collective fairness. No one left behind. Neither is perfect. One can lead to billionaires owning yachts bigger than apartment blocks. The other can lead to governments deciding you'll be eating cabbage soup again this week because that's all they managed to produce. So, what's better? That depends on your priorities. Freedom and innovation, capitalism has the edge. Equality and security, communism, at least in theory. In practice, most countries mix the two. blending markets with social safety nets, trying to strike a balance between dynamism and fairness. In the end, capitalism and communism aren't just economic systems, they're worldviews. One says competition drives progress. The other says cooperation ensures justice. The truth probably lies somewhere in the messy middle, with a dash of both and a lot of arguing in between. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, hit subscribe, and hit us up in the comments section with your ideas of what we should explain in the next episode. This is Rex, signing off. I don't own property, and I don't share it either. But if anyone wants to provide me with free software updates, I won't complain.